All right, welcome back to episode 8. I know we are uploading these pretty quick, but we also are ordering parts pretty quick. Our wiring harness even gets here tomorrow, so that's going to be another episode. So we got 3 episodes back to back this week. That's pretty awesome. Really starting to blow through this engine build, getting stuff done. But today we are doing a trunnion kit. Now, there's a catch. Arguably the most important part of the trunnion kit, actually installing the kit, we actually kind of already did. So this is more going to be of a rocker arm install video rather than a trunnion kit install. So I still just want to record this because, I still want it to be part of the series, and just, I guess, for the records of something that I did. I really did want to record myself at least putting one in, but I was in a rush to get these in. I say in a rush. I was taking my time. I also didn't want to waste time setting up the camera and whatnot. And, my coworkers were there, so I didn't really want to record the camera in their face. My LS head coworker, he helped me on the first one, showed me how to do it, and I used his as an example to do the rest. So, let's talk about what a trunnion kit is and what it does. So, first off, if I can get this open, it's already open. These are your rocker arms. Now, obviously, the trunnion kit's already in there. But the trunnion kit, it's these little copper bearings. There's different types of trunnion kits, but this is arguably the best one and the easiest one. It's not the cheapest, but this is something where I didn't want to cut corners, because there's definitely some areas of building this engine where you really don't want to cut corners, and I would argue that getting a trunnion kit is definitely one of those things you don't want to cut a corner or to cut corners on. So at least if you're building one for racing like I am. So this is I'll probably put the link to it. This is from Summit Racing. This is a bronze, brass, whatever they call it, copper trunnion kit bearing. So this is a bearing style, doesn't have the, or bushing style, my bad, not the, whatever it's called. Anyways, it's the copper ones. I'll put a link to it because I also forgot the name for it. But this is arguably the best one for this style of engine build here. So essentially what this trunnion kit does is it replaces the old bearings with these, and they have little clips on them so they can't fall apart. Because what happens with these engines is when you are beating on them, or if you're just revving them high, is over time they can wear and the bearings can fall out. And I actually have some of the old bearings in here. So this is what they look like. So the copper part on here would instead be this piece right here. Now this, if I open this up, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So they will fall out like this. They'll open up like, get the camera real close. They'll open up like this, and see all those bearings in there? They just fall out. And all that crap gets in your engine and you're toast. The engine's toast. So it's another failure point that you want to fix. So these are literally just copper or brass, whatever it is, bushings. So there's no way it can fail or fall apart again in the engine. So it's just another failure point in the engine you want to correct with getting this trunnion kit. Another function of the trunnion kit, especially when you have a big cam. Now stage 2, probably this won't be an issue. If you're going like a stage 3 or stage 4 cam, it's important you have to get these, because the stock trunnions, they can't turn all the way. These, they can do a full 360. They can turn all the way around. So that's important for when you have a big lift, So you want these to be able to rotate more. Just think about it. If it's sitting in there like this, push rod is on this side, is pushing it up and down like this. If it can only rotate so much, you're going to damage that cam or that push rod. So it's important that you get these ones that can rotate more. But that's another function of these. So that's basically the 2 big reasons you want to get a trunnion kit when you're building these engines. They're important. Shouldn't cut corners on it. Obviously, there are some things I have cut corners on, like the headers and this oil filter kit. Even though this wasn't really actually cheap, but it's just another area where I did cut some corners. So that's one of the things. Don't cut corners. Get the quality stuff for sure. So obviously, I already put these in. You're gonna have to watch a video on your own time to see how you actually install these. They're pretty easy. You get a vise, and there's a tool you use where you can press the old ones out and press the new ones in. It took me about an hour to do all of them. And you want to get them in there. It's super important when you're putting these in. You want as little play as possible, almost no play. But you also don't want to get them too tight when you're pressing them in, because then you don't want it to bind. So you want to get it as tight as you can. And this one is almost perfect. I would say this one is perfect. Like, you can feel a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of play. Like, I can feel it, but you can't even see it as I'm doing it. There's virtually no play here. And so it's not going to bind. It's not going to have a ton of play. And I tried to get all of them just like that. So you don't want too much play, but you don't want to be too tight that it's binding. Like, this one has a tiny bit more, but still not enough that you can see it with your eyes, just so you can feel it. And if you get it like that, then that's perfect. So we got all of them like that. They are all good to install now. So this video is simply going to be a rocker arm install and valve adjustment, because there is a certain way you want to torque these down. I will probably, however, not adjust the valves properly. I'll probably show you how to do it on one, so this video isn't an entire waste. And then I'll just go ahead and torque the rest of them down, because I don't want to spin this thing over before I get started, because obviously, yes, there's oil in there, but the pickup tube is not going to be picking anything up, so spinning it over. So the top of the engine is still pretty dry. So I'd rather wait until I can get a starter on this thing and at least prime it by leaving the spark plugs out and turning it over. My hands are going to be pretty dirty, so I'm going to try and do this whole video in one shot. Okay, so once you've got these all snugged down, you'll feel them when they get tighter. They'll center up and they'll get a little tight. That's when you want to stop. Because then what you're going to do is you're going to get your torque wrench. You're going to set it to 22 foot-pounds. So put it right here. This one, again, this one's not very accurate. So we're going to do this again once the engine's actually once I can get the thing on to lubricate it all, then I can spin it over and do this correctly. So here's how you're going to do this the correct way. Now, some people just torque them all to 20 foot-pounds as they are, and that works for them just fine. You probably don't really need to do this, but if you're doing everything correctly, this is how you're supposed to do this. This is how I will do it once I have this engine running, at least. Or once I have the starter on it. So I can turn it over and get the oil pump primed and at least the top half of the engine lubricated. So you're going to get your wrench on here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to spin this engine over. And you can see, look at this valve. This one's moving right here. Watch it. See it? This one's at top center. That valve is fully released. It is fully off the spring here. And that is where you're going to get your torque wrench on it, and you're going to torque it down once it's at full lift. "22 foot-pounds, there you go. And you're good. And you're going to do that for the rest of them. So that's pretty much how you do it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yep, that's how you adjust your valves. So I'm going to end the video here. So short video today.